Okay, so before we started recording, all three of us in complete unity agreed that we should start the podcast by reading this post in Our Teenagers called "Fuck You, Chloe."
False. I'm not behind
Chloe.
this at all.
Now, none of us have read this yet, so we're gonna be live reacting. Let's see what kind of drama. This has 28,000 upvotes, so it's pretty important. All right, and this probably gonna define the societal zygote for the next year.
We have to keep the entire podcast on the same topic as this post, whatever it may be.
I totally meant to, I don't know if you guys noticed, I totally was supposed to say zeitgeist. I said zygote.
I just ignored you, it's fine.
Alright, here we go. 2 days after I had found out that my brother had died on January 6, 2020,
Great start.
I was in school, and this girl, Chloe, said that she liked me and asked me out. I was feeling pretty bad, and that brightened my day. Okay, so this is getting pretty into DC. What are your thoughts so far?
This is the biggest waste of my time.
Do we have ages of these people?
The next day, they're teenagers.
Right, but that doesn't help. 18 and fucking 13 is very different.
The next day, on January 7th, I took a day off of school to go to my brother's funeral, and was back in school on the 8th. That day, we were changing seats, and when I moved to Chloe's table, she moved to a different one, leaving me alone with Delaney. Ooh, some character development. Later, I asked Delaney for a pencil, and Chloe, seeing me, said, "You're cheating on me? We're through," in an exaggerated tone.
So they're definitely 13.
I tried to ask her about this later, but she ignores me. Finally, at the end of the day, when I caught with her and asked her, she said, "I was joking. You're Cody. No one wants to date you." Okay, we got one more paragraph.
Oh no.
Now I'm aware that she's a rather insignificant person who I have no attraction to, and that our non-existent relationship means nothing to me now. But what kind of a fucked up joke is that? To shit all over someone at one of their lowest points like that? How much of a sociopath would you have to be to do that? Alright guys, so let's see. Bailey, this has 28,000 upvotes. It's very, very important. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
You said you have one more paragraph and you read like 5 words.
Yeah, so let me recap for everybody who is an in-depth story.
It was a very long story. You do have to recap all of those details.
This guy, his brother died, and then he got asked out on a date, and then she asked for a pencil, so the girl broke up with him. And then when he's like, "Why did you break up with me?" she said, "Nobody would fucking date you." And that's the story.
What?
So,
didn't it start with, he said a year ago this happened?
Yeah.
Why are you still posting about it? Why do you still care?
He just got over it.
But he clearly hasn't because he's posting on Reddit.
Okay, Bailey, so your brother dies, right?
Yep.
And a girl asks you on a date, and she said, "Just kidding." How do you react to that?
It depends on the girl, I guess. If I don't know.
Maybe it's Chloe.
This
I
is
don't know any
so
Chloes.
dumb. This is the dumbest thing we've done to date. This is by far, I've actually been abusing my penis while this has been happening because it felt better than listening to this.
DC wants to date Chloe, confirmed.
Why? It's the most erratic story ever. Brother died, asked girl out, asked for pencil. Who fucking cares? Why does it doesn't make any linear sense?
I agree. Who fucking cares? But who fucking cares about this podcast?
There's a subreddit called r/fuck_Chloe with 1,000 subscribers.
There's not.
Oh, well, it was made a year ago, so it's not even related to the story.
He's actually reposting this. He posted it a year ago now.
Is that what people do on Reddit? Is that what they do? They type their pathetic stories and then a cult following backs them up and likes their post or whatever? Is that a thing?
It depends on the subreddit. But
should I go on? Is that how I'd get famous?
T-Tiger901 said, "I'm adding Chloe to my assassination list."
Wow. Chloe's now fucking dead.
Glad I called that guy. Anyone know what that's from?
No clue.
You guys are too young. Did you ever watch Billy Madison?
Never heard of it.
I think we already talked about how we haven't seen it. Somebody actually went against the grain. He said, "You guys are sending death threats to a 13-year-old girl."
But obviously you don't have the answer, but did she know that his brother had died?
At no point does it say that she knew that.
Right. So like, it's not even that bad. She just made a shit joke.
Yeah, like she didn't even know. She thought it was like funny.
Reddit has been a part of the internet that I have been perfectly content with not exploring yet.
I feel like we're three very different scales, us three. I think Pound is on it like all the time. DC's never touched it, and I'm just like here and there, you know?
Dude, Satan plans to replace Hitler with Chloe. Says this comment.
It's
Navneath Minin.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but the Ant-Man 6000 said, Asterix aggressively writes her name in the death note. Closed asterisk.
Reddit's so fucking depressing sometimes.
If Chloe is reading this, go fuck yourself.
Imagine like this, it's just some random Chloe reading it.
And Chloe, the reason Chloe did it is because her sister had just died, and the only thing that would make her happy was like playing a prank on this guy. All right, DC. Since you have so much better ideas for the podcast, why don't you hit us with something?
I don't have any ideas actually this week.
Oh, wonderful.
I just know what I don't want to do, and it's that.
Well, apparently you want to fucking torture your own penis.
I do. I was slapping it as hard as I can.
Well, that's happened within the first 5 minutes, thanks.
Yeah.
TC just loves to flex his walking on this podcast.
It's true.
He's like, 4K today, easy.
I did. Yeah. I walked 4 miles.
He didn't say 4K. He said 4 miles. That's like 8K.
Yeah.
What?
4K. Or 4 miles, sorry. So that's like, what is it?
It's like 6 or 7.
6 or 7 kilometers.
And now our viewers know that.
Bro, I haven't looked outside in like 4 days.
That's sad. Yeah, that is. It's not good. It's not good. You should go outside for a walk. What's the temperature in Norfolk?
It's been like 0 Celsius for like the past 2 weeks or so.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is minus 32 or 32?
No, it's 32 here.
Yeah. It's plus or minus, but yeah, it's 32. So right. It's not awful, but it's pretty cold.
It's not bad.
Do you guys know what the ultimate temperature is?
What does that mean?
It's minus 40.
What does
is
that
mean?
Where
the points meet the conversion skills?
That's the only temperature where Fahrenheit and Celsius are the same.
I did not know that. That is actually a cool number. For once in my life, I actually have a transition. I was talking to somebody yesterday about numbers, right, which is very lame. But do either of you two have a favorite number?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, one at a time. DC, what is your favorite number and why?
I'm like thinking about if I should like say it, but
we're on a podcast.
I don't want somebody to know my personal info.
Well, like I put it in valuable, precious information. You know what I'm saying?
If you would have told us that, nobody would have known.
No, everybody would have known because I bet you your favorite number is in your passwords.
It's not. No, I have a 1 in my password because it's easier to remember.
Oh, you just got hacked, Bailey.
What is your password? No. You don't have to tell me what it is. What does it consist of?
I'll tell everyone my password. You know why? Because I got fucking NordVPN. I can't fucking get hacked.
How many uppercase? How many special characters? How many numbers? How many characters?
No, usually I will just go with a plain old word. No uppercase, no symbols, no numbers, if the site lets me. But if not, I'll just do what they have to do. Well,
wow.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know. No,
who wants my fucking Facebook account? Go for it.
I was like, back in the day when I got into IT, I was like making the most complex passwords, and I was like, I don't want to get hacked. But then I realized like it's kind of a numbers game, and if you get hacked, you're gonna get hacked. Your complex password is not gonna save you every time. But
also, like, who's sitting there, like, just trying words on my email address? Well, if they're getting hacked,
well, the problem is they're doing brute force attacks in mass quantities, right? So they're going to try... So that's why you should not make your passwords a whole word. You should replace the E's with 3s and the A's with @ symbols, etc. And so that really helps because there's just algorithms out there that just plug in every known word combination. And so if your password is just... roast beef, right? Like they will try that before they try R0 @STB33F, you know?
Well, mine isn't a real word, so okay. I'm fine.
That helps.
But
anyway, my favorite number is 64.
Nice, I like that one.
I was 8 years old, 9 years old on a
You're
tournament.
playing the Nintendo 64.
Tournament baseball team. Could have been subconsciously because of N64, but the coach calls me and says, "Hey, you made the All-Star team. What do you want your number to be?" And I was just like 64. And ever since then, I love it. It's in my life in different areas, like personal information that I didn't even know at the time. And I also love it because it contains a multiplier of my other favorite number, which is 16. And I like even numbers. I hate odd numbers. So 64 goes into 32, goes into 16, goes into 8, goes into 4, goes into 2.
Yeah, it is a very divisible number. I kind of have a similar one. Mine's possibly nerdier. So my favorite number used to be 7. And you know why? Because seven's just a cool fucking number.
It's a generic favorite number. Lucky number 7.
If somebody asks you, yeah, it's the lucky number 7. Somebody asks you, like, rate this 1 through 10. No matter what you thought of it, people are like, yeah, 7. Like, regardless of if they liked it or hated it. And then I was like, yeah, like what DC said, 7. That's too mainstream. I'm a fucking hipster, dude.
I agree.
So I found out that 7 cubed, so
yes.
7 times 7 times 7, is 343.
That's an awful number. I hate that number.
That's a good number.
I literally hate that number.
It's symmetrical too.
Yeah, it's a palindrome. So it's my old favorite number cubed, and it's also a palindrome. So 343 is my favorite number. It's a cool looking number.
That is a good number.
I hate it. 3 is such an ugly number. I literally hate the number 3.
Wow, I didn't realize this was going to be so passionate and divisive.
Dude, this is going to be so fucking awkward when I
tell you mine is number 3.
No, when DC's mom hears this podcast, because I don't know if you know this, but DC was actually born from the number 3. That's his mom. She's going to hear this.
What does that mean?
She's going to be very upset.
No, continue. Bailey, why do you ask?
Well, I'm going to give my favorite number first. Mine is 4. Because
really thought this dude was gonna say 0 or something.
I don't like standard integers.
It's 2 times 2, and it's 2 squared. So it's all of the 2's makes 4.
But why wouldn't your favorite number then be 2?
And it's 2 plus 2.
Because it's boring. I said 2 plus 2 when DC was talking over me.
I heard it when I wasn't talking.
But yeah, I was talking about numbers yesterday, and... Thanks. I appreciate that so much. During the only topic I have.
I didn't know you'd be able to hear that, sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
You were talking to the numbers guy yesterday, apparently, because you had nothing else to do.
There are just some cool numbers, 8 is a cool number. Because it has a lot
I'm more
to do with,
interested in how did you and this boy or girl get to talking about numbers?
Good question. I don't fucking know.
That's the real fun, is to kind of navigate and retrace your steps of how conversations get to certain points. Okay.
So she lives in California.
Hey guys,
and
welcome.
I got her time zone wrong. I was like, oh yeah, you're like 5 hours behind because I just forgot. And
you're way off, dude.
Yeah, I know. I just forgot where she's from. And she says, no, I'm 8 hours behind. And she's like, it's good anyway. I prefer the number 8. And
she lives in California, doesn't she?
Yes, that's what I said.
You literally said.
I didn't hear that.
You subconsciously heard it and then felt really smart.
Bailey's like, my favorite number is 8, and DC's like, oh, is your favorite number 8?
Yeah, it's just.
Why is it that, like, I didn't want her to be from I honestly didn't hear you say that, and so I just thought of West Coast, right? 8 hours behind you. Like, my mind just instantly went to California. Why couldn't she be from Washington, or better yet, Oregon? You know Oregon, Bailey?
Man, it's only the most populous state in the country.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it? Does it take up a large percentage and also have a lot of people?
Yeah, I know, but I would rather have her have been from, how do you say Oregon?
Oregon. I've never said that word in my life, I can assure you.
You've never said Oregon?
I have had no reason to ever say that word in my life.
But did you know it existed?
Yeah, I knew it existed.
Do you know all 50 states?
Do I know what?
Do you know all 50 states?
I couldn't have even told you there were 50 states.
Okay.
Like, I knew it was around there. It was like...
All right, we're going to play this game until... Pound, we name states until Bailey says he hasn't heard one.
I've probably heard of them all.
Can I sing the song?
Just be honest, and yeah, go ahead, but slowly.
What am I doing? Because I've probably heard of them all.
I know, but if there's one that you've never heard of, just tell us. That's all. That's the game.
We're going to go for all fucking 50.
Well, we'll find out.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida. I haven't sung this in a while. I got stuck. like Georgia, Hawaii, Indiana. We'll cut it off there. Bailey, did you hear of all this?
Yeah. All right, keep going, Pound.
But no, there was one there. If you asked me to recite them, I definitely wouldn't have got, which was Delaware. I've heard of it. I know it's a state, but if
I'm pretty sure either that or like New Hampshire is like.
Have you ever heard of
like
Vermont?
Way smaller than you'd think it was.
I've heard of what?
Vermont.
Is that American?
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Yeah, I've heard of Rhode Island.
Wyoming.
Delaware, Rhode Island, Vermont.
Montana.
Yes.
New Mexico. Oklahoma. Texas.
Why would I have not heard of Texas?
I know you guys love Texas. Like Europeans love Texas.
Well, it's one of the
It's
bigger
because
ones.
it's the only
isn't it?
state they hear of.
Oh. I was born in Connecticut. It's spelled connect, I cut, in case you were wondering.
And why'd you say it without the second C?
It's just Connecticut.
I'm going to go back to like our teenagers. That was better than this.
It really wasn't, let's be honest.
What'd you say?
I said I'm going to go back to our teenagers. I think it was better content than this discussion of state.
I thought it was a pretty good discussion. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Nothing. Actually, no. Our teenagers was absolutely awful.
Did you know Texas is bigger than the UK? I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'd believe that.
That's nuts.
Or at least bigger than Britain. How much bigger is the UK than Britain? Or am I supposed to say bigger than England?
Okay, so England is one country.
Yeah.
The United Kingdom is
It's
four
four
countries. And Great Britain is 3 countries? Not including Northern Ireland, I think.
That's not fucking confusing at all.
Even I'm confused, but I don't fucking live here.
Wait, so what if somebody, what's the one that encompasses all of them?
The United Kingdom.
United Kingdom, okay.
And that doesn't include the Republic of Ireland.
What is that?
Yeah, isn't there like South Ireland and it's not
the Republic
Ireland?
and Northern. And the Northern is in the UK, but the Republic isn't. And I'm shit at history. I don't know why. I don't know when. But it just isn't.
Doesn't it piss you off like how little we actually know about the world that we live in? Like we're just so confined to our immediate surroundings. Like it should be mandatory to live halfway across the world for 10 years.
What does that mean?
For 10 years.
Like,
if I'm president or if I'm
just in the middle of the ocean.
You have to go directly
directly
if you went straight
whatever
through the earth.
Yeah,
you have to go right there.
And you should have to live there for 10 years.
What if it's the fucking ocean?
Well, you can go to the closest land to that point. Or you get to pick where you go, but you just have to move 15,000 plus miles away.
Bailey, I want to know, since you're in a completely different part of the world, growing up, all the kids when we were like 3, all the kids in preschool, we would try to dig a hole, and we said we were going to dig straight through the earth and come out in China.
Yeah, we have to
now, if you look at a globe, that's nowhere remotely close to China.
But we also said China. We're completely
You also
so
dug
far.
China.
Yeah. But we're so far.
I want to know, what does China build to? Where do they dig to? Sorry.
They just dig like a U.
They all say
they come back to China.
They all just
They're also going to China.
Yeah. Where is
it? Wasn't that? I think that was maybe a joke on a Simpsons episode. Or some sort of animation.
Simpsons have had every joke.
Right, and the whole episode was like based around digging through to China, but like everywhere dug through to China.
Yeah. That's actually how the country was originally founded.
They just popped up.
Yeah, when Homo sapiens were originally like in Africa, they just started digging, and that's how they invented China.
There's actually a really cool website you can go to, and it'll show you like your country if it was on the exact opposite side of the globe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like every single point of the U.S. except for like one,
it's up in the ocean.
You dig to the ocean.
Yeah. What percentage of the Earth is ocean? Is it like 80 or something?
70.
It was close.
I have a question for you guys.
We're just gonna disagree. We've got 70, 75, and 80.
Just call it 75.
Yeah, never gonna clarify. It's between. I think it's what 70. I thought it was 3/4. I always thought it was 3/4.
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, is it? I don't know. Okay, it's probably gonna be the stupidest thing I've ever said. But is it weird that I'm pretty sure it's also the human body is 70% water.
60. It's 60% water.
Okay, well,
I think.
Fucking destroyed.
Maybe you're just dehydrated.
You know, we are like all sat by like computers and mobile phones right now, but nobody's Googled either of these
I know.
stats.
Well, it's like if you.
I'm
That's
on
remember
it.
what you talked about early on. You said it's fun to like argue, but then the moment people start going to the statistics, like it just takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, I said it last pod. But like, we're not really arguing about it. We're just like, I don't know.
I have a question I thought of
Yeah,
about
go.
the last topic, but I want to ask before we move on. And
Okay,
it's
wait,
like,
wait.
What?
Wait, 1 second. The Earth is 71% water.
how much of the
yeah.
body is
That's
water?
what I'm searching.
So far, I was the closest with the ocean.
I said 70.
60%
Oh,
on the body.
fuck, you're right, you did.
So
Okay,
no,
well,
and
I'm
it's-
right on the body.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay. No, but I forgot who first told me this. It might have been my dad. No, I don't think it was. But somebody was like, back before there were cell phones, because now if there's any question like that, we can just Google it no matter where we are and we'll know the answer. But, back before that, when you had a discussion like that, it could branch into like an hour-long conversation about like different topics.
Those conversations don't happen anymore because we can just look. Like, I didn't even feel like arguing because I knew that one of us is going to look it up.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how like it turned from talking about China to, instead of one of us Googling where would the opposite side of the Earth be, it turned into how much water is on the Earth, which turned into how much water is in the body. And I like those like natural flow of conversation into random topics.
I don't. It means I have to talk to you two more. DC, question?
Yeah, I had a question. So we were talking about obviously like digging a hole to China, and I was thinking like, how sick would it be if we could actually do that, but in a quick way? Like, imagine like teleporting, but tunneling through the core of the Earth. And so I was like, oh, Bailey, we have the podcast, and I like tunnel really quickly to Britain. And I was thinking if we were able to teleport, we'll just simplify it and say teleport to anywhere.
I would just throw digging out the
Well, this is what I was just referencing what got me onto this train of thought.
Yeah.
Do you think if we could all teleport, humans could be anywhere at any point with a simple thought? Would that be good for the world, or would that be dangerous and not end up being good?
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, I think dangerous. If I could just like teleport into somebody's like fucking bedroom, murder them, and then teleport away, I think that's pretty dangerous.
So how does it work? Like, do you have to know where you're? Like, I don't know where DC's bedroom is. So can I just like think DC's bedroom?
You can only teleport to somewhere you can imagine because you've been or seen. But I'm just thinking like if I was like I need to be in Bailey's house, like he could send me the coordinates and be like, yeah, just come here.
That'd be cool.
I mean, like, there are a lot of people who are really like touchy about their information online. Like, I know a lot of people like won't even give out their like real names and like even first name. That would definitely get a lot riskier, you know. Even if like you say like which city you're from, then it's like, you know, you are primed to be fucking murdered.
But I don't think that's how that works, right? if I want to murder somebody, what's stopping me is not because I'm unable to teleport to them. I'm still going to murder somebody if I want to.
Well, my logic is, why would you not murder somebody closer? Why am I so special that you want to murder me?
I don't want to murder anybody, but I'm saying like this
okay,
whole.
well, hypothetically, if you did,
Ask me again.
hypothetically, if you wanted to murder somebody, right?
Yeah.
Why would you go for a specific person targeted like me and not just somebody who's closer?
I would go closer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't give a fuck about giving my information
Yeah,
out
same
online.
here.
I won't do it on streams and shit, but to like strangers I meet individually online, I don't really care. But on stream, it's different.
You know what, like, kids would do and stuff? They'd both, like, teleport to the moon, and so you could hold their breath the longest. And then, like, whoever teleports back to Earth first, they're like, oh, pussy.
It's the new version of rock, paper, scissors. If you want to sort out an argument, teleport to the moon.
Yeah, I get bummed out thinking about like how limited we are. Like it's pretty glass half empty to think like that. But I always think like if we could fly or teleport or time travel, like how cool that would be.
But also, I think sort of like the opposite applies too. Like, it's pretty cool that during normal times you can just like go to an airport and buy a ticket and be somebody somewhere in like a few hours.
Yeah, I guess I want magic to exist. I grew up wanting Harry Potter to be real.
Thanks, DC.
Yeah, that's the core of what I'm trying to get at.
I forget if I brought this up on the podcast before, but I'm not like a biologist or a scientist, but from what I've heard, one of the key differences between animals and humans is that if you have like a cow, right? And let's say it's had a baby cow, and it's like ate some grass. Like it won being a cow, because the only thing it wants to do is have children and eat grass, and like that's winning. Yeah, you literally, because there's nothing else you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
That cow has literally done everything a cow could ever do. But then when it comes to a human, like even if we could teleport to anywhere on the world, like that would be like an insane advancement. People would be sitting here and they'd be like, I'm really fucking bummed out that we can't teleport to Mars. Like, and then even if you could teleport to Mars, you'd be like, well, it's so disappointing how limited we are. We can't teleport to the Andromeda Galaxy. There is nothing a human can ever accomplish where you'll be like, oh, I did everything. You're always gonna, no matter what you accomplish, you're always gonna. There's things you can think of that you would like to be able to do that you're not able to do, and it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, but your example about the cow was not correct.
Okay, fucker, why don't you correct me?
Well, you said a cow has two uses, and if it accomplishes them, then he's fulfilled his life and can die a happy cow.
Yeah.
And what were those two tasks?
Eating and breeding.
Okay. What about
Yeah.
Well, you really owned me, DC.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like what about the Oregon Trail where the steers they pull wagons or they provide milk on a daily basis, or what if a cow actually became a computer programmer? Like what?
No, I've thought about this. Not the cow specifically, but you know how they're teaching monkeys like sign. There's some gorillas that can like speak sign language. Yeah. Like they actually understand language to an extent. And people are like, oh, that's really cool. Like I wonder if one day like monkeys will be as smart as humans or something. The moment we see a monkey like drive a car and like walk into a store and he's over. Like, oh, good morning, guys.
It's over.
Every monkey is getting wiped out immediately. Like we've seen Planet of the Apes. Oh, yeah. We're not letting them catch up to us.
I was thinking when you said about the cow and how it only does those two things, I wonder if that'll ever change, Like, obviously not anytime soon, but like in millions of billions of years, I wonder if cows will be evolved,
Yeah.
I forget what they say made humans so much more. I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast before, but like...
I don't think you have.
Yeah, you have
Well,
not.
You know how... I think I brought it up to you guys. I swear one of y'all told me it was stupid.
Probably me.
But you know how, like, who's the fastest person in the world? Like Usain Bolt,
I
right?
think DC.
Yeah, DC when he's walking. So, like, the fastest person in the world, they can sprint 100 meters. I don't know what the world record is. It's like 9 seconds. Yeah. What's the second fastest person in the world? It's like, what, like 100th of a second behind them? Yeah. Like, it's very close. So, we understand that number 1 and number 2 are close together. And you go, what's the smartest animal on the planet? It's humans. Well, who's the second smartest animal? Well, it's not even fucking close. Like, it's like monkeys, like, throwing shit at each other is the second closest animal.
Some humans do that.
How did we get so far ahead of, like, there's no animal that's even close to our intelligence. I've heard some people say, like, opposable thumbs, like, helped us, like, build tools. Monkeys have those. Do any animals besides monkeys have, like, opposable thumbs?
Are we gonna Google it, or do we want to go on a side tangent?
We're not Googling. We're not Googling shit. We're about to give the most. Some biologist is gonna be like hearing this, and he's like, these people are idiots.
No, it's definitely not because of the thumbs that has separated us by light years.
I mean, it let us use tools.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. I've heard it too, but the more I heard that in school, but. Think about it. A monkey has his thumbs. Their thumbs have the same capabilities as our thumbs. Correct?
Yeah.
Well, it stopped them from growing to human capabilities. Why? That's why.
But they're smarter than other animals.
Yes. So it's the brain. It's not because of your thumbs.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I think the second smartest animal. I forget if they're smarter than monkeys or not.
Dolphins.
I've heard dolphins. Yeah. And. What the fuck has a dolphin ever done? Like
dolphins,
they have sex for pleasure.
They're pretty
did you know
smart.
That one?
Yeah,
I did know that one. Humans and dolphins are the only animals that have sex for pleasure.
Yeah, it's pretty common. I was being ironic.
You get into some like intense thought processes about what could have advanced our brain. Like religion is the first thing that's going to come to most people's mind. Is God created humans? Because if you take religion out of it and you look at Charles Darwin theory of evolution, we evolved from cells and just kept evolving. And I don't know what would make us advance at such an accelerated rate where a dinosaur or a horse would stop, right? So I don't know that answer right off the top of my head. Do you have any initial thoughts as what it could be?
I believe one of the things I heard was that like our stomachs like changed, and I forget how it involved, but like our stomachs got smaller and it allowed our brains to get bigger. I forget why. So maybe it's kind of a shitty point, but something you can Google at home loyal viewers.
But like everything had to fall into like perfect place because obviously, surely we couldn't be the only species who had smaller stomachs at one point.
Yeah, it wasn't solely just like the smaller stomach, but it had something to do with.
It really, when I see the sketching of a monkey evolving into a man, right? Have you seen that? Why hasn't that shit blows my mind, right? That was supposedly that's what
like a horse, didn't start walking off two legs eventually.
Why? What? Everything else has been around just as long as us, if not longer. Why is nothing else taking this transformation?
It's kind of interesting how negatives can actually be positives. So I don't know if
Where's this going?
I don't know if people were. I forget if there's a conclusion on how dinosaurs got wiped out, like if it was a volcano eruption or a meteor or something. But I do remember that.
It's my giant penis.
Yep, it was a callback to a previous episode. I do remember that basically there was like an ice age because either like a huge super volcano or a meteor covered the world in like clouds and smoke, and there was an ice age and all the dinosaurs died out, and mammals survived because they were just like small enough to like go hide in caves or like underground and stuff, something that dinosaurs couldn't do. But you'd think being like this giant fucking reptile that could eat everything, that'd be an advantage. But mammals came out on top because they were the smaller creatures and could survive the ice age. So I'm trying to word my point, but as I said originally, it's funny that what should have been a negative, being the weaker animal. What are they called? There's the animal kingdom, and there's what are the reptile and mammal called?
Species.
Anyone know? No, that's the bottom tier. Whatever.
I don't know.
You get my point.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
What you're
Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying that we evolved on top because we could adapt better.
Does it bother either of you two that we'll never know the answer in our lifetime? Probably.
No, not
See,
at all.
that it actually like bothers me. I get like so mad where I like not mad, but I just want to know the truth, the answers.
I would if there was like some similar situation in the future, right? And we could already predict that, but because it's already happened, it was like whatever, it's happened. Like it's never going to affect me.
Have y'all heard of this I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard, it's a very weird TV show. It's called like The Dinosaurs or something. It's about this family of dinosaurs.
Oh, I think
it's like
this.
It's like a kid's cartoon.
Yeah,
and like on the last episode, there's like global warming, and to like fight it, they like drop nukes around the world to like cool everything off by like blocking out the sun. But instead, they just like there's an ice age and they all die.
I haven't seen
this bizarre ending to a show.
No way that's true for a kids show.
I mean, you can look it up.
We're not allowed to Google. What do you mean?
Yeah,
it's a new rule.
Later. You can look it up later.
I'm not that bothered, I can promise you.
Yeah.
There are people out there who believe that the dinosaurs never existed.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
You are. You would be.
Why?
No,
are you talking about the I forget what they're called, like something like early Earth creationists or something?
And there's also people who reject that the Holocaust ever happened.
Yep.
I'm what? No, I'm not.
I'm one of them.
Yep, there you go, Bailey. No, there's people who think the Earth is only 6,000 years old, and so
no.
Like it was created in 4,000 BC. And when you ask them, like, well, how do you explain the dinosaur fossils? And they legitimately say God put the fossils there and made them look like they're millions of years old. No, Satan put them there to make people think that God's not real. It's like how there's like two explanations: either dinosaurs were real, or Satan put them there to fuck with you. One of those is like more. I forget if it's called like Hanlon's razor or something, but one of those is a much simpler explanation. Yeah.
The most obvious answer is usually the answer, or whatever. Occam's razor. That just sounds like an intelligent term.
Yeah. You can literally just like trick somebody. You can be like arguing at a bar, and you'll be like, "You just committed Hanlon's razor," and they're like, "Oh, fuck, I don't know what that means, but I don't want to." Yeah. I don't know. It's like Hanlon.
I need to look this up. You're not talking about Occam's razor?
Well, we've just banned this.
I think that's what. There's multiple razors. I think I meant Occam's razor is the one I wanted to.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, Occam's razor is the I think what I was trying to say.
Yo, I hate DC typing. Can we kick him off the pod?
No, because I'm Googling too.
Oh, you're both kicked. This is my podcast now.
Okay. It says Hanlon's razor is never a tribute to malice, which is adequately explained by stupidity. So like if DC burned his house down because he like left the oven open, it's like don't say he's an arsonist if you could also just be like he left it on by accident.
But Occam's razor is the problem-solving principle that entities should not be multiplied without necessity, or more simply put, the simplest explanation is usually the right one. I find myself riddles and stuff, a lot of these like brain busters, like trivia questions, I find myself overthinking and getting in my own way, where somebody else who's not really, like if somebody's like, I have a riddle, I'm like, okay, here we go. It's going to be like the most complex riddle and have a crazy answer.
I know what me and Bailey are thinking about right now.
Yeah.
DC, you weren't watching my stream before the podcast, were you?
Give him one of the riddles that are on the stream.
Yeah, so we were watching. Have you heard of the YouTube channel Brightside?
No.
Oh, they just post like the stupidest stuff, like life hacks and like riddles. And the channel is famous for the riddles not being able to be logically solved. Like they just don't give you enough info, and then that's why you can't answer them. So one of them is probably the dumbest one. This lady gets on a bus, and and the riddle goes, she thinks that some of the people on the bus are zombies. Can you tell which ones are zombies? You're given zero information, so there's no way to answer. And then they're like, it's the guy with the Band-Aid on his arm and the lady who's moaning a lot. It's like those can easily be explained by something besides they're zombies.
It's not a riddle. That's just like a story of like something that could have happened.
There's
no right or wrong answer. Like,
there's another one which is like the shittiest excuse in history. It's the first day. I'm gonna emphasize this. It's the first day of school. Somebody is murdered.
Okay.
And so they interview some different teachers to see who the murderer is.
It was Chloe.
And the PE coach, yep, it was Chloe. The PE coach says he was busy playing basketball with the students. The principal says he was busy in his office. And the math teacher, remember, the first day of school, the math teacher says he was busy giving a midterm exam.
A midterm.
Yeah, and the answer to the riddle was it was the math teacher, because the middle of the term doesn't happen on the first day.
Imagine fucking murdering somebody and like that's your cover story. How fucking stupid
it couldn't have been me. It was the middle of the year.
Right? Like, if you're fucking murdering somebody, at least have a coherent fucking story. That's so dumb. I wasn't there for that one, but that one's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Thanks, Bailey.
It's very quiet.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast, and today the topic is ethics on zoos, whether or not zoos are okay.
Saying Jews?
That wasn't even mildly interesting.
Mildly interesting.
It wasn't. Maybe we should talk about that on our podcast. The ethics of Jews. What are you watching?
Nothing.
Stop! We're recording. You're
DC's
leaving
not
this
here.
in. You're leaving this in. I've made an incredible segment. Oh, we should have.
We're leaving this in.
We should have the DC piss break segment every podcast, where we lose the least mildly interesting member of the podcast.
I think I'm watching a rape video on TikTok.
You're too old for that website.
Did you see my Discord message?
You send a lot of Discord messages.
I said on my Discord, I was like, I've realized I have about 2 more years to be on TikTok before it's sad. Yeah.
It's already sad.
Because this girl on TikTok who I have a huge crush on, who I'm now a mod of,
Flex.
she was really pissed off yesterday because like her profile blew up because she posted this dance. Anyway, she like blew up. She got like 100,000 followers off of it, maybe more, and she deleted it because she kept getting like all these like really creepy comments. She's like, I'm thinking about deleting my TikTok. Like literally all my followers are just old men who fucking creep on me. And in the comments and the responses to the video, I hope I'm not too old for you, haha. And like you click on his profile, it says like 36. She's 20, by the way. She's 20. It says like 36 years old, father of 4, electrician. It's like, you're a father of 4 and you're watching a 20-year-old girl like dance to TikTok.
That is kind of fucked up.
And then there's this other guy. He looks like he's about like 45 or 50, and he just like responds. She has a video. You can like, you can't. She doesn't show any cleavage. You can just see like through her shirt. You can tell that she has boobs.
Oh, really?
Like you can't. You just can tell she's a woman. Like the least revealing shirt possible. This like 45-year-old man said, "Flushed emoji. Wow. Star eyes emoji. What size could it be them?"
I like how you have the exact quote. It's like, I must remember this for the podcast. I hear a wild DC.
What up, bro?
Just got like fucking sick.
That's not good.
Was it because you're drinking alcohol or?
Yeah. No, it made me think, did I eat something funky? Like it just doesn't. I just don't feel good right now.
What I wanted to bring up about what we were just saying, you know, we've talked about credit scores like barely during the podcast,
'cause we're
but you know, it's
fucking
good for your It's good for your credit score to like have multiple credit cards and to like, you know, use some money on them so that you have like you get more on-time payments added to your credit report and you have a longer credit history and stuff. And somebody was like, I'm $50,000 in debt. I just finally paid it off. Should I cancel my credit cards? And somebody said, no, because it's better for your credit score if you keep them open. And somebody said, yeah, but they clearly have an insane spending problem. And I liked the analogy they used. They said, you know, you wouldn't tell an alcoholic that like it's good for your health to have a glass of red wine once a night or something. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point.
I agree. Although I think it's more similar to like keeping red wine in your house, you know. But yeah, I agree.
But I never thought. I'm sure there's other stuff like that where it's like, you know, people say if somebody has like a glass of wine a night, they're like, oh, you know, studies show it's better for your heart to have a glass of wine a night. That's like, but you wouldn't tell that to somebody with a drinking problem. So I wonder what other issues people are like trying to like get better at something, and people are coming in with like very minute details. Like it's not like you drink red wine and you're like immortal. It's like maybe like an extra like month of life expectancy or something.
Well, like you also wouldn't tell it to your kids, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You bring this up with this tradition, and like all through their life they also do it. DC's currently having a fucking fit because we're talking about drinking alcohol.
No, DC's having a face throwing up in the background.
It's because he doesn't drink enough red wine.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree with you get rid of the credit. If you have a spending problem, you get rid of it.
I don't think you should have one anyway if you have a spending problem.
That's what I'm saying. Get
Like,
rid
I know-
of it.
Yeah,
Close it
probably.
out.
I know you need like a credit score and shit, but like if you have a problem, then like it's probably more value to have no credit score and no spending problem
Than to be
than
into
both.
debt.
Yeah, I
did. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Bailey, you can
no.
go.
It was nothing.
Oh. I kind of. This is gonna be I plan for this to be like a semi-long segment because it's something we can all relate to. I think kind of about just the internet in general. And to lead into it, do you guys remember the controversy with Burger King donating to Twitch streamers?
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
yeah, so Burger King would go because you know streamers have like if you donate like $5, $10, they have text to speech. And I'll read out your donation.
Mhm.
And Burger King was going onto different streamers with like thousands of viewers. And they donated $5, and it was like, we just donated $5 to you since that's the exact amount of money you need to get 2 Whoppers with our new 2 for $5 deal. And you're like, that's. I thought that was kind of funny that they figured out to advertise that way because I thought it was cute. Oh my god, was there backlash?
Why?
Streamers on Twitch, on Twitter, it turned to like a big Twitter thing. Some streamers actually, I think this is way overblown. They compared it to being raped.
Wow. This is where I come back to the point where you just can't do anything these days without offending somebody. Proceed.
Because they said they did not consent to Burger King advertising on their stream and were forced to have it against their
They
will.
don't have text to speech and don't have anything donatable. Because I could donate you $10 and I could say buy my underwear, you know, like DC's underwear.
Sorry, is this something you're actively doing?
What?
Is this something you're actively
Yeah,
doing?
I go into streams and I say buy my underwear for $20 a piece.
Gotcha.
And they say stop raping me with your underwear ads.
I totally see why it like if this turned into a real thing, where like every stream companies came on and donate. Because the point of the text to speech is for your viewers to donate money and have their messages read. I totally get the annoyance of it, but some people, like they were trying to get like a class action lawsuit against Burger King. I was like, it's not that big of a deal.
If it was one time, I would be okay with it. You know, I'd be like, that's pretty funny. If they came in like every fucking day, I'd be like,
why are you complaining? Here's the thing: you get money.
You get the money.
They're giving you money. Yeah.
What's wrong?
The point I was gonna make is that, like, you're okay if some, like, random guy comes and gives you $5 and says the same thing, but because it's the company, you're, like, so offended.
Yeah.
And it seems a little bit like a cash grab to try and sue them for it.
Yeah, that's 100%
and
what it is.
I think it's also cool, that Burger King's kind of, because these streamers are, like, and I get it, if you have 1,000 viewers, you can't read every chat message. But it's sort of like gatekeeping your own viewers' messages. Like, oh, if you want me to hear your comment, you have to donate money to me for every single comment. And I think it's kind of, because I kind of dislike that. I get why they do it, because they have so many comments they have to read.
I think it's unavoidable. I dislike it, but I do think it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
I think it's whoever came up with that at Burger King, like,
genius.
They need a raise.
Oh, it's so smart. Yeah.
Right? That's like, how many impressions would they have gotten from those ads? And also, the Twitch community is like, if a big company recognizes that community, they'll all support it, because they're like, oh, it's really cool being recognized by Burger King, right? So I imagine it was pretty effective compared to normal ads as well. And it was cheap.
Yeah, that's
what advertising is. You literally are paying to get for exposure. How is that different than a commercial?
Well, that's what they complained about. They said if they wanted to do an actual ad on the stream, then they'd have to pay like maybe like $100 or like $1,000 or something. Yeah.
But if they wanted to do a pre-roll, they'd have to pay way less than that.
Yeah.
So it's just a different method of advertising.
But I did want to go into a larger topic of, and this has been happening for a long time, but the internet is dying.
Right.
Because the beginning of the internet, with the huge, what everyone thought was going to change the world, is it had so much freedom of sharing other people's ideas. Like, so many people throughout the world, like, I would have never been able to talk to somebody from Britain or even from Pennsylvania before the internet. And I wouldn't, people in other countries can read books from any language. There's so much knowledge that has been gained from the internet, and slowly, and it's been happening every year, people are realizing how much money there's available on the internet, and people are getting greedy, and it's ruining that kind of freedom, that free sharing of ideas. The thing that I'll give the story that wanted me to talk about this on the podcast. Australia recently, I don't think they actually passed the law, but it was getting heavy consideration, and now Canada is looking to pass this law. On Facebook, people will post links to news articles and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe so-and-so is happening." They're now going to start forcing, Facebook will have to pay the news companies if a user links to the site.
Wow.
Like, not reading, like, it's not like the article's on a paywall and the Facebook gets around it. It's literally just linking to the website. The governments are saying that Facebook gets traffic from people going to look at those links, and so they should be forced to pay. And Australia's going a step further. I couldn't find a news article about this, because when I search for it, all I find is about the recent news about paying the news sites. But Australia was trying to pass a law that if somebody posted like a video or a picture on Facebook and it got enough likes, Facebook has to pay the user, because Facebook's getting traffic from them. I'm like, that's not what the point of Facebook was supposed to. You're not posting a picture of you eating a croissant as like a job.
Like, you might not be.
That's what Instagram is literally capital.
Yeah.
Like, if it's now a job to now become Instagram famous.
Yeah, but that's from like advertising other products.
No. Like, what it is you just post pictures of your boobs, tits, muscles, whatever it is. You get enough followers, and then you have enough followers where ad companies are like, I want to now push my product because you have 350,000 followers. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that, but I'm not fine with like the government says, like, by law, if somebody gets 10,000 likes, you have to pay them for driving traffic to your site.
Actually, now I was against it when you started this, but now that you say that, why wouldn't we want these huge corporations to pay the customers rightful? It's almost like it's rightfully, you do owe them money. Like, you are only successful because of the traffic that comes to your site, and I am attributing directly to.
But it's a two-way street. The
traffic.
guy who's Instagram famous is only famous because they got to use Instagram's site like for free. Like, what? Why not charge $5 for an Instagram profile? Like, you can
Well,
go.
if you're not going to pay me and Facebook's going to pay me, then I'm going to Facebook. And you see it
but
on
that should be
Instagram
the
dies.
company's decision to make.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be forced.
Well, I don't know if it should be forced, but it makes sense.
We can put it into a smaller scale. Would you like to have to give a percentage of your donations to your chatters because they make up 50% of your chat? Like, no, obviously not.
If my chatters were the reason that I was a millionaire, then I would have no problem paying it back a little bit. If I was taxed, that's what I'd figure. I'd count it as like a tax.
I think this should just be between the two parties. Like, Twitch pays streamers to be exclusive. Like, I don't get paid for being exclusive on Twitch because what the fuck do I matter?
You bring no value to them.
I wouldn't want the government to like force Twitch to have to pay me if I only stream on their platform.
I would.
It should be Twitch.
I would.
Oh, I wish. I definitely
That's
wish.
what happens though. Like Nick Merckx, like they literally pay him to stay with Twitch.
Yeah, and I think it's great if Facebook says like it goes to a user and is like, hey, you bring so much traffic to our
That's
site.
what that is. That's what it's saying though.
Post.
It's just not voluntary, but that's what it's saying.
Yeah. I want it to be voluntary. Yeah,
I don't.
Oh, I think Pound's major point was the internet is dying.
Yeah.
I understand that's hyperbole and that's not actually what you meant. But I think it's actually a good thing that so much of the internet is becoming about money and stuff, because there's this whole argument of like eventually jobs will just be automated, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what if like a huge new stream of jobs is just people on the internet getting traffic? Like, I think that's a good thing. I think that's a load of opportunities for people who maybe don't want to pursue other things or don't have the skills to pursue other things. I think that's generally a good thing. And I understand it's, the internet's about information and stuff, but I think it's also about opportunity as much as it is about information.
Isn't it sad though that like the whole reason we care about numbers on the internet and getting followings and touching impressions and everything is just to sell more of the product that you're pushing? That's it. Advertisers fund Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Without advertisements, this all dies.
But that's the whole world.
I know, but that's sad to me. That's sad.
Oh, that's how it works. There wouldn't be any like sport if advertisement didn't exist.
No, but sports are still fun to play, right?
Yeah, well, not like professional.
And they're fun
sports,
to watch. Like, I don't have fun watching somebody.
But if nobody watched sport, professional sport wouldn't exist.
No, people would still play sports, and people would have fun watching them perform at a high level.
Okay. Not to the level that professional sports exists now.
Sure, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm, yeah, because the only money you would make is from the ticket sales. You wouldn't have like TV advertisement. But I love that people can make a full-time job career out of YouTube, so they can focus entirely on making content. But I think we brought this up before. When did YouTube? You used to not be able to make any money on YouTube. I think it was like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, somewhere around
there. They actually added monetization, and people were still. I feel like people were making just as many videos, or at least not everybody. There are more creators now, but people were putting out like daily videos.
It was more about the passion. It was
It's hard to go back to 2008 videos and rewatch, but I feel like if YouTube never monetized, I think there would definitely be far fewer creators. But do you think the per video there would be a higher quality because it's people? The only reason to post is because you cared about making.
Some people just have to get a video out because it's their scheduled time, or they want to get that guaranteed money or quick money, whatever it is.
They need to do their Raid Shadow Legends ad plug. One creator literally said that. He's like, you might notice I always post a video at the end of the month. That's because I got paid to advertise something during the month, and I pushed off the video until the end of the month. But I needed my ad money.
I think there would be both. I think on YouTube there are still people who do it for the passion, and there are people who do it for the money. And I don't think that. I think more choice is good. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think that. I think if people have the inherent passion anyway, they're gonna make it for money or not for money. but the money then brings people who do it for money, and I think the money also brings higher quality content. Like paid editors, right, means you can make more content, and they're probably better at editing than the general YouTuber, so it's better content. Or you can pay for sets or better cameras and stuff like this, right? So
I'm not the only person who heard pay for
I heard
sex,
that too.
right?
I literally was like, what is he talking about?
might have been the mic, but pay for sets.
It sounds like sex again.
Maybe they pay for sex too. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm talking out of my ass here. This might be completely wrong.
Yeah,
but
it is, sorry.
I feel like there are, if you look at the YouTubers who've been uploading since like 2006, 2007, and are still uploading today, I feel like they all have like a different feel to them than channels that popped up in the last like 4 to 5 years that have always been monetized. Because it's like they uploaded for years for nothing, solely out of passion. And I feel like that's carried over even, 10 to 15 years later.
Yeah, I agree, but also I enjoy both. So I think it's a good thing either way,
Because most people couldn't even upload in 2006. Like, I would have had to start when I was 10 to even be able to do that.
You'd start fucking dialing up your internet.
Yeah. And, I mean, this was naturally going to happen. But the other thing about all the money in the internet now is, Netflix first became like a streaming site. And I didn't have Netflix, but as far as I remember, it was about $10 a month or so, maybe even $8 or $10 a month. And it had like every single show ever on it. Like you could watch any show or movie on Netflix, and it was less than half the price it is now. And that's because they would go to these companies like NBC, ABC, CBS, and they would say like, "Hey, we'll give you $5 million to have the streaming rights to all your old shows." And the companies would be like, "Well, yeah, why the fuck do we care about streaming rights? We just want to play reruns on TV." And so Netflix would do that, and that's why they had all these shows and movies for only $8 a month, because the companies are just throwing the streaming rights to whoever because they didn't see any value in it. And now, if you want to watch the same number of shows, you've got to have like 6 streams. Like you've got to add Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. Every single station has their own specific streaming site. I think that was the only way this could have ended, but I think it's definitely much worse for the average person than back in the old days where you just had one streaming site and you got to watch pretty much everything. And I miss being able to just go on one streaming site and having all these different shows available instead of it being segmented like it is now.
You know what also sucks is that you have to pay for each of those services. They do the same thing with football too. If you want to watch every single available game, like there are a lot of games, of course, but it's the same sort of concept. You want to watch every game, you have to be subscribed to like 5 different services. And altogether, I think just to watch every single game, it costs more on average than like the UK's average electricity and gas bills or something like that.
That's pretty bad.
To watch every single football game because there's so many services and they're so expensive. And yeah, I don't know where to go with that, but it's pretty sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking if there's a better way to deliver that where, because I'll be like, oh, I want to rewatch this movie or this show from when I was a kid or whatever, and you go and you see that you have to like subscribe to this streaming service. Or what's cool, and I guess Amazon does this, is if you just want to watch like a couple episodes, like charge like 25 cents. If I want to just watch it, I don't want to have to subscribe to your whole $13 a month thing, free trial, cancel in a week, whatever, I'll forget, and then you still get the payment type shit. Like, it just feels dirty, and I hate it. But right now, I have Amazon Prime Video, I have Hulu, I have Stars, I have Netflix, I have Disney Plus.
See, like that's got it. That's what, over $50.
Yeah. And it's just like, and if there's still things that I still don't have access to, and that pisses me off. I'm like, I'm paying for everything, but I guess that's the way it makes sense. But if I want to watch something from when I was a kid that nobody fucking cares about, charge me $1. Like, why are you going to charge me? I don't know. That's why Amazon is the best, because you can rent a video for like $4 and you can watch it for the night and then be done with it. Netflix, like my favorite show in the whole world, my desert island show, The Office, was on Netflix for years and years, and I used to watch it all the time. And now it's gone to some streaming service called Peacock. And Peacock, you know that their whole business plan was to just spend all of their money on the number one show, one of the best shows of all time, The Office, and hopefully people will come over and pay for their service. Well, I got so mad that this irrelevant, arbitrary streaming company called fucking Peacock took my favorite show and wants me to subscribe to their streaming service. They can take my dick and suck it, bro. I'm never gonna pay money to Peacock for The Office, and it's just sad because I don't think anybody's gonna go stream The Office from Peacock.
How many people do... I feel like that's almost all these streaming sites. Their entire business model is, we have one show that you want to watch.
Yeah.
And you have... Because that was the whole point. The whole point was, people were mad at cable companies. They said, I watch 3 channels. Why the fuck am I paying for 300? I just want to pay for the 3 channels I'm watching. Cable companies said no. They said, okay, well, now I'm just going to watch on Netflix or Hulu. It's so much cheaper. But now, that's you're like, I just want to watch The Office.
You can't. Yeah, you literally can't watch The Office. Yeah, I don't have cable anymore. I mean, I saved $80 a month.
Except now, that used to be, you used to save like $80 to $100 a month canceling cable to have your $10 Netflix, and now it's almost at the exact same thing. You're paying over $50.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just all about these companies just making money. Because if you want, that made me think of the internet companies, right? Where if you want to bundle phone, internet, cable, it's almost more expensive to just pay for one than the bundle. Like they just force these things upon you, and you don't have a choice because you can't go to the other provider. Like I can't go to the other cable provider because it's not in my area. So I am stuck to only have one choice. And I pay this price and this premium, and then I can't even get everything that I want because I have to go to additional streaming services. It feels icky when you really like put it on paper and think about it.
I think that was one of my issues with the Facebook thing I was talking about earlier, because it's not like they're not passing these laws because there's like freelance journalists like writing news that goes on Facebook. Like it's these giant media companies that are like going to the government and they're like, hey, Facebook is rich as fuck and we want our cut. And the politicians are in with the big media companies, and they're the ones pushing for these laws.
The only reason I have like no problem with it, do you know how much information Facebook steals from us? That I know technically it's not stealing because we sign up for it and click I agree to the terms, but they are mining all of our information and selling it. Like they suck. They really suck.
I feel like Bailey might agree with me on this. I much rather have like my information stolen than like have to pay like $5 a month for Facebook or something.
2,000,000,000%. I care fucking zero about my data habit.
I feel like I feel like I've noted a lot of people under 25 or so.
Have you ever seen The Social Dilemma on
yeah.
Netflix?
Yeah, I've seen it.
All right. Did that not bother you that what are they doing to our... It's an existentialism. It's an existential crisis is the way I describe it. The way that these companies are molding and forming us into their personal robots and slaves. That's why you say you don't care, but they control the way you purchase, the way you think, the way you shop, the way you live your life. That should bother you.
No, I would just disagree.
If Facebook wants to push anal beads... And there's this huge market for they decide one day that we're gonna have everybody buy anal beads. They are in control of how many anal beads you see before it becomes normalized. And next thing you know, you're purchasing anal beads.
Right, I've never in my life bought a product because of Facebook, and I know the next argument is going to be, well, it's subconscious.
Yes, it is.
Right,
it 100% is.
No, right.
It's 100%. It's just the way psychology works.
Right, I can't remember the last time I bought a product that I generally just wasn't happy with. I don't really care if I went to some company as long as I get the product and I'm happy with it. So what if they got me to buy with them through my data? If I'm happy with the product, I'm happy with how much I paid, fine. I would much rather have that than not have it, actually, because they're only using my data to see what I would be more likely to buy.
But doesn't it bother you that, like, there's always an agenda, a hidden agenda that they are using to control you? Like, bad people could be behind, like, way behind a lot of these companies of products that they're pushing. When you're on Facebook and Twitter and you see advertisements, you don't really consciously say, oh, I'm not going to buy this product. But then when you're in the market for something, your mind sees that logo and you're like, oh, I've seen that somewhere. It's trusted. It's good. And the guy who owns this and paid all this advertising for Facebook to shove this in your face has like really bad illegal business. Like, dude, it's just a control thing where your freedoms, your right to choose freely have been removed. And I know that's an exaggeration, but that's the truth. You no longer are just this free thinking organism. You are controlled by big business.
And I don't care.
Yeah, I know. I get
because as long as I feel as though I have freedom,
that's like the Matrix.
No, I'm not done.
The illusion of freedom is perfectly fine for Bailey.
As long as I feel like I have freedom, which I do, and as long as I don't continuously feel as though I'm being ripped off, which I don't, I'm fine with it.
It's not about a fair price, though.
No. But the whole point is they're getting me to buy a product. Well, as long as I feel no regret for that product, as long as I'm satisfied and it brings me happiness within my life, I don't care. Because it's not making me upset, it's not hurting me, and I'll probably forget about it in a year.
Do you remember the political part on Facebook on the Social Dilemma, where politicians use Facebook to...
Yeah.
Okay, so what about that?
Well, the same thing goes. If I have no regret for what I voted for or what I believe in, anything, if it doesn't make me feel negatively, I don't care.
But it's taking the masses of the people who live in your immediate network and making them do awful things and think awful things. And it's just all because somebody had enough money to push an agenda on a population.
The reason DC's so mad about this is because for months during quarantine, he kept getting ads for a Peloton bike.
Now I have a Peloton.
and he's so pissed about buying it.
It's just, all right, so the reason I get so mad at it is because I do not like being told what to do, and I feel like at the core of what we're talking about, it's taking away my decision to do what I want to do.
Here is my point. If you gave me the option, I had to buy some shit pizza rolls to use this free online streaming service that brings me hours and hours of entertainment, I would take that every day of the week. And the same goes with Facebook. If you made me buy some shit fucking Peloton bike to use their service forever, I would take it.
Yeah, but if you had to vote for a dictator to watch Twitch for hours and hours, like at what point is it just too much, right? You see an advertisement for a dictator,
and I would very, like, you have this infallible argument. I cannot get my way through. By no means can I get my way through you saying it's subconscious, right? But I will tell you now that I will vote for somebody because I believe in what they're telling me, right? If I believe that through Facebook, Twitch, whatever, well, no, I just don't believe that I would. Okay.
So here, it wouldn't be, it's an extreme example, but we'll go with it just for this example's case, right? You Bailey, you would see that advertisement, you're like, oh, I'm not going to vote for him, whatever. But the advertisement is being put out to the masses, and a few people start to talk about it, start to actually get behind it. And then a movement starts to grow, right? Where some people are okay with it, more and more people are okay with it, and then it has a following, and this advertisement's still being thrown in your face, and then next thing you know, it's popping up in Twitch chats, and people are discussing it, and arguments come, and people are persuaded, and the next thing we know, we have an issue. And what was that issue because of? It's because this politician had enough money, and Twitch had a platform with us eating out of their palms to send us a message. Whatever the message is, they control it. We don't have a choice, and now we're talking about it, and we're ingesting it. That's the problem I'm talking about. You're saying, yeah, it's a small price to pay to vote for Hitler, as long as I can watch Twitch.
Right, but firstly, I think that's illegal, at least here, to advertise. I think that you have maybe a budget or something, but it's illegal to basically use social media to advertise a political campaign that much. I think there are some restrictions on it. So firstly, I'm okay with it because there are already restrictions on it because we already know it's a problem. But secondly, I think it's humanity's moral obligation to be against that. Like, there are stupid people who will believe anything, but if you're smart enough, you're not going to just fall for it because you've been advertised it. Even if you use your argument of subconscious, I think there are still a large enough population of people who are too smart to not fall for that.
I was just going to say, but how many times does it, and it kills me to say this, do people let you down? Maybe because they're just stupid, maybe because they are just evil naturally, but I would say that more often than not, people will let you down.
I don't rely on people for things that are important to me.
I'm talking about like as a society, as a culture.
Right.
Like we will not be able to overcome. Like, when's the last time we have come together as a people, like, and really just overcame something? Like the political debate here with Trump and Biden has been so polarizing and sickening. It was awful. I mean, you saw it in London, and like it took over every conversation on Twitch. It was just disgusting. And it's the same thing with like COVID, where you get these mask wearing people who can't wear masks. It's a hoax. It's fake. Even though it's killing millions of people, we still do not have the ability to come together and try to defeat this in one common goal.
Right, and this is going to be a really fucking stupid point, right? But what if we started advertising masks, right? we started advertising, wear fucking masks. Because they actually do that here in the UK. That we have ads that basically tell you to, they give you the guidelines over and over. And I see it all the time on Twitter. But like, what if then, right, there was a group of people who disagreed with that so much that they had the same argument we're having now, but instead of Hitler, they replace it with masks.
But that's my point, that people will let you down because they cannot see the difference. They're like, oh, we do not need to come together. I don't want to be told what to do. But at the same time, like, they would be saving lives and ending a pandemic. That's what I'm talking about, where humans will fail you 9 times out of 10.
I don't know what percentage of Americans are like avid anti-maskers, but there's probably at least 10 million people that are like very
definitely
avid anti-maskers. And what's so funny is these 10 million people who all like came to their own conclusion that we shouldn't have to wear masks. If from the beginning of the pandemic, Donald Trump said masks are really cool to wear, 99% of those people would like always wear it, and they would have no problem with it. And I think similarly, if Biden said like don't wear masks, all these very heartthrob liberals who are like, how can you not wear a mask to save people? A lot of them would be like, don't fucking wear it.
It's all because of the polarization.
I think that's so much different because those are people in power and those are people who are supposed to be advised on topics. Like there's
but a lot of everyone who decided whether they like wearing masks or decided they don't like wearing masks, a lot of them did not come to their own conclusion. All of them think they came to their own conclusion, but it's actually just them listening to people they kind of idolize.
If you wanna just like, I was gonna say good laugh, but it's not funny. Just like a
That's the best kind. Yeah.
Like watch a COVID compilation of like the dumbest news, like real news that is things have been said about COVID, what cures it, what causes it, whatever. And it's just like amazing at the amount of fake news out there, the people who are out protesting with no masks. It's just like it's sad, isn't it? Isn't it disheartening that like this is where we are?
Yeah, I've gotten very depressed in the last year about I used to be an optimist. I'm not anymore.
Like, it's almost like if aliens came and said, we're going to invade your world and kill you guys, and humans would be like, 50% would be like, okay, we have to fight them, and then 50% would be like, well, the aliens have a right to be here, like, I'm on their side. Like, it would just be, like, we could not come together as one and defeat the aliens.
I think this is a very cultural thing, actually, now. Now that you brought up the fake news thing, I can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure any sort of news like about fake COVID cures can't be on TV here.
That's how brainwashed this fucker is, DC. He's like there's literally no lies in Britain.
No, I'm sure it has to be verifiable by something or other. I don't know the exact parameters.
I remember seeing a news clip. It was like a legitimate talk show, and they were like, you can get COVID from Chinese takeout. Like that was a legitimate news.
And you know what's so awful about this? Right? This is going to be so fucking ironic. My mother is one of those people
that would believe it.
My mom is, yeah.
Right? But it's so ironic because I'm sat here and I'm like, no, people don't get brainwashed by social media. She's fucking one of those people.
Yeah. My entire family.
Well,
yeah.
My entire family. I think she's just a fucking stupid person who is way too, like, judgmental over that sort of stuff. So I think it definitely depends on the person, and I'm not worried about it. I'm fine.
This is what I hate about the fake news movement, is these people are like, and they start with something that, for the most part, I agree with. They say, all these big media companies, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, a lot of them are on the same page, and they report an event in a biased way to kind of sway public momentum. I can get behind. I'm not saying everything they say is wrong, but I can get behind that there's some manipulation. But then their conclusion to that is that they get all of their news from this website that some guy in Virginia runs out of his RV with no sources whatsoever. And I'll give a real example. Literally one guy with no sources, he said after the U.S. election when Biden won, he said that the servers that they put they stole all of Trump's votes and hid them on a server in Germany, and then the FBI raided, or the CIA raided Germany and got into a huge gunfight and killed 20 German soldiers and recovered the servers in this building that's like in downtown in like the capital of Germany. You think there's no fucking news articles about a huge invasion happening and all these people believed it. They're like, yeah, of course that happened. Now Trump's gonna win because they got the server. And it's amazing that they'll literally believe anybody who is not a trusted media source.
They'll believe anybody who argues the point they want to believe.
Yeah.
Because as long as you feel like you're right, they're just like, oh yeah, I'll believe this.
Yep.
Like, this has been said. It wasn't me who made it up. Somebody else made it up, so it's fine.
Moral of the story is humans are stupid by default. And what can we do? What can we do to turn that around?
Nothing. We will perpetually be stupid.
I think that's the end of the world people talk about, right? We will literally be the cause of our own downfall. Like, I think it will just be, this is
well, it's not going to be fucking dolphins.
This is like an exaggeration, but like the world will become so polarized and irrational that we're just going to like blow everybody up.
I think that's definitely a cultural point of view. Like, the whole, like, humans are very divided is so American. Not in an offensive way, that's my analysis of it.
That's the reality. I was saying, how cool would it be to like be able to go live in another culture for 10 years because I'm surrounded by this. It's the way I think. It's the way I talk. It's because of what I see. And it's not right. It's not the best way to live.
Pound, you cut out, but did you just make a joke about the UK never being divided?
Yeah, I mean, just look at Brexit like 4 years ago.
No, but like, of course. But generally, I think our culture, like, I think you guys would say that generally your political culture is very, very divided, right? And like, I think a lot of people even struggle to like have debates on like certain things, but I think ours is more so, I don't know how to explain it. No, stupid point, cut it out.
Something I learned, I don't know if this is because I just finished Outliers DC, and I'm also like a bit through Talking to Strangers. I don't remember if it was in the book, if I was listening to a separate podcast. So something I learned this week is that if you look at like sexism in a country, like women getting paid less, women not getting promotions, women being treated like second-class citizens, the countries with the least amount of sexism, like where women are treated almost exactly the same, those are the countries where the citizens say like we have a huge sexist problem where we discriminate against women. And then the most sexist countries, something like Russia, where women struggle to like get equal wages, on the most part, the women say that like they're treated exactly as equals and there's not that big of a sexist issue. I wanted to tie that into the people being, what were you just saying, Bailey, about Americans think everyone is like so against each other or something?
I was saying nothing because you cut that point out.
Okay, I got you. But I wonder if that extends to other things, like the countries that think they're the most divided and they're never going to get along. I wonder if those are secretly like the countries where people actually have a lot more in common than they think they do.
I doubt it for this specific case, but
yeah, probably, yeah. Even if it doesn't connect to what we were saying a second ago, that first point's still interesting about
yeah, for sure.
I think it also is true with like racism.
I think it's to do with like standards, though, right?
With what?
I think it's to do with like your standards on like what is and isn't. How do I say racially, but for sexism? Because it's not sexually.
I don't know, but anyway,
I had a point. Okay,
I think what they said, the reasoning is that women in very sexist countries. Oh, it was Hidden Brain, I think is what I was listening to, a podcast. Even though it'd probably be like it's good, you would imagine it's good to know if you live in a sexist country or not. By not knowing, or just like rejecting the idea that you live in a sexist country, you can be happier through like ignorance. Mm-hmm. Like you don't notice that you're being discriminated against. I think that's what Bailey was just kind of push the idea.
Going to say with standard. I don't know, possibly if you meant that, like, what's your tolerance or acceptance of it? Like in Russia, the women might just be, I don't know if the word's less aware or just they don't care as much, whatever. Mm-hmm. But in America, where everybody's self-entitled and needs, everybody has the same exact equal, whatever. Yeah, they're going to be more vocal about it here, I guess.
Hello, Pound from the BDP Podcast here. During recording, DC's computer ran out of memory and stopped recording. So he quickly ran and got an external hard drive, and then we continued recording afterwards. Please enjoy the rest of the episode. Okay, what were we talking about?
We're talking about how this podcast is already 90 minutes long, and we said it's going to be 60.
Yes, sir. Since we're getting deep, I've had this on my notes since the very first week, and I've never found a good time to bring it up. I thought it was cool since we talked about a lot of psychology and deep topics.
No, this is the most boring part of the pod.
Right? This is just very interesting. And hopefully you guys haven't heard the story already, or it's not going to be as exciting. But during World War II,
Yeah, I've heard this one, sorry.
Planes would come back from fighting, and they would see, because they were losing a lot of planes or getting shot down and stuff, and they would see where the planes, when the planes came back, they'd see where they were getting shot at. A lot of concentration on, like, the wings and stuff. And so they said, okay, wherever the planes are taking the most amount of damage, put, like, a bunch of, like, armor on that part of the plane. So they, like, really armored it up. They're, like, the bullets were not getting through. It did not save, like, a single plane. Like, they were getting shot down at the exact same rate. And they were like, that literally makes no sense. But everywhere the planes are getting shot at, we protected them. What they were fucking up was, it's called survivorship bias, which you've probably heard of before. But they were only looking at the planes that came back. All the planes that came back with bullet holes, that means wherever those planes got shot, you could get shot and still come back. It was the planes that didn't come back. So this guy realized it, and he said, everywhere you don't see a bullet hole, put armor on that part, because any plane that gets shot there isn't coming back. That's why there's no bullet holes there. And so they did that, and all of a sudden the plane started surviving. Because you'd never think initially, like, put armor where the planes aren't getting shot. That wouldn't occur to you.
Your first thought is like, oh, they're getting shot too much in the wing, and that's where we should protect to stop them getting shot too much. Not that they just hadn't gone for the actual vulnerable part.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Like, it's one of those things where both sides make sense.
And then the same thing happens with, like, all these, like, YouTube gurus where they're like, you're like, I dropped out of college and started day trading online. I made $1 million. It's like, yeah, but you're not gonna see the 90,000 people who did the exact same thing as them and went bankrupt immediately. You're not gonna see ads from them.
Yeah, I mean, also a lot of them are probably just like fucking lies. Because
Yeah.
who's gonna ask for you to prove that?
Have y'all heard of Billie Jean is marketing? I get this guy's ads all the time.
I actually haven't though.
He's like, all of his videos are. This is what I know. I can call him out as bullshit. He says he's like this advertising guru that can like drive traffic to anything. But then like his YouTube channel, he spends like millions of dollars on advertisements. Ridiculous. But then like his YouTube channel has like 30 views a video.
Yeah, it's really funny because all of the like how to grow on YouTube sort of channels all have like 10 subscribers.
Yeah.
So it's like, surely if you knew, then you wouldn't be at like 10.
Yeah. But the most recent ad I saw from this guy, he was like, hey, let me show y'all something. He's like in a golf cart. He's like, get in my golf cart. And like drives downtown. I just wasted $6 million. And there's like an aerial view of like a billboard with his face on it. Then I clicked skip ad, so I don't know where the fuck he was going with it.
Good. You told a story of an ad you didn't even fucking want.
The point is, the guy's so stupid.
But that would have made me laugh. DC's currently infuriated because we're both being brainwashed.
Yeah, DC's had nothing to say for about 5 minutes.
Except that. Good. Leave that in. Leave it in.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing at all.
DC.
Nothing at all.
I'm just blown away by the amount of file space that Call of Duty takes up.
There you go, bud.
How many gigs do you think Call of Duty Modern Warfare has taken up on my...
80.
Huh?
I was going to say 8, yeah.
I said 80.
199
8.
gigabytes.
Yeah.
That was way off.
Why the
Pretty
fuck does it take over half of my hard drive? Something's wrong with that, right?
No, well, yeah, it's stupid, but I've heard of new games taking up like 200 gigabytes, and it's like, how are you expected to have this?
Yeah, so I have 2 Call of Duty games on my... Okay, so I'll just uninstall one of those. Okay, moving on, sorry.
Some of these have to be like money laundering schemes, right? Like this Billie Jean guy literally has like $1 million YouTube ad budget. Doesn't seem like he like makes any fucking money. Like where is he getting the money for that?
I don't know who you're talking about or what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, but I'm sure you've heard, or like Raid Shadow Legends. Who do you know that plays Raid Shadow Legends, and yet they've got like a almost has to be $100 million advertisement budget.
Well, that's where all their startup money's going to. The game actually sucks itself.
It's probably like just investors and stuff, right?
Well, that's like an actual viable strategy these days, is to not even have a good product, push advertisements, and then once you have a user base and users who spend money and stuff, then you can put money into the game.
Yeah, like product doesn't really matter that much. It's more so about impressions.
Yeah, if you can go and your friends are all playing it, whatever, they might hate it, but they're still there. You still have them. Then you've achieved what you've set out to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys have ever dived into the world of shitty apps, but if you download one of these shitty apps and you're like, how are they making money? Well, because like every 2 minutes they play an ad for some really shitty mobile game, and you download the shitty mobile game, and then you're like, how the fuck does this make money? And every 2 minutes they play an ad for the first game, and you're like, how is this is like a loop of like they advertise on each other.
But it works, so I guess it's pretty smart, you know.
But the money has to wait. Like, who are the investors? Who are the investors that like, hey, here's my game where it's literally Clash of Clans with 1% of the budget, and you're like, oh yeah, here's $1 million, and they're like, yeah, thanks, yeah.
I actually did a whole video on this on YouTube of Clash Royale ripoff games, and it's so funny how many of them actually exist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
my favorite Clash of Clans, not Clash Royale, but Clash of Clans ripoff, and it got I swear I brought this up before. And it got taken off the App Store for obvious reasons, but I'm so because it was the best one. Instead of like barbarians, archers, giants, it was like Superman, Darth Vader, Batman. That was like all your troops. It was just all one. They stole the exact layout of the game, and then they just stole like every copyrighted item ever. I like the balls of them. I had fun playing it.
It's hard to find an actual after playing like Clash Royale, Clash of Clans. It's hard to find another game that has been. I haven't found a mobile game that's as fun as one of those.
It kind of ruined my childlike wonder at video games when I started. It kind of revealed to me, I'm like, oh, literally 90% of games is just another game, but they put different graphics on it. And it's like, oh, I guess games aren't. Because I remember my whole life, because I played so many Pokemon games. I wish there was a Pokemon game you could actually like fight, kind of like freestyle, and then they came out as Pokken or something it's called. Finally came out with it. It's literally just like a normal fighting game, but with Pokemon skins. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I expected. Obviously, that's what the game would have been.
It was really bad.
I guess I wanted it to be like the anime, and it just like it wasn't.
Yeah. There's only like a finite amount of like good game ideas out there, though. You know. So it's like people get a winning formula, then everybody else just copies it because they know it'll win, and it takes out all of the like complex process of actually making a fun game.
What really made me notice that about the games is that I think it's Super Mario Brothers 2 in the United States, or maybe that was the name of it. But one of the Super Mario Brothers games, it was literally just another game. Like somebody made another game. And then they're like, I don't think it's that good. I want to publish it. And then Nintendo was like, well, let's just swap out the sprites with Mario and Luigi. And that's like one of the most iconic Mario games. Literally just somebody made a different game, and then they switched the sprites out at the last second and published it. I'm like, it's crazy how, because if that did not have Mario's sprite on it, nobody would have ever heard of it. But instead of it's like a super loved game. And it's crazy how much we love a game based solely on what the sprite looks like and not like how the game plays.
You can sell mostly anything with the right IP, you know? As long as your franchise is already big enough, like, you're going to have a high enough percentage of like super fans who'll buy anything, even if it's shit, because they can't prove that it's shit until they play it, you know, or until it's been out for a while.
It makes me wonder how many games like I genuinely like, or how many games I'm just like, oh yeah, I played the prequel, so I like this one.
Right, and you wouldn't like it if it wasn't that game series.
Yeah, and a lot of YouTubers do that. Like when they're first starting out, especially like animators, they'll do like Mario parodies, Pokemon parodies, and you're like, these jokes are only funny because it's like, oh, what if Mario said like fuck or something? Like that's the whole joke. But yeah, we can move on to truth or lie.
We still don't have an interesting name for it, but I am up this week. And I will continue to do my really lame intro where if you didn't watch the podcast last week, or any of the weeks, we do a weekly segment where one of us tells a story, and the other two have to guess if it is completely true or completely made up. We take it in turns, and we get a point for guessing the right answer, or we get a point for tricking somebody into guessing the wrong answer. Are you two ready for me to rattle off?
Oh, yeah.
Should we start writing down the actual scorecard? Because I know we're going to forget.
I have it.
Remember when we did viewer questions?
Yeah, I always open them, but you never ask, so... All right, are you too good for me to
We
rattle
need to
off?
get rid of all of the current questions and have them submit new
Yeah, I'm
ones.
just gonna make like a new poll and post it on Discord.
There are 8 left. I have deleted all of the bad ones.
Read one of them. Just, I'm curious what's left.
All right. I mean, I can read them all and we can just cut this out. But
No, just read one and we might actually
read
answer
2 or
it.
3, and I just want to hear what's left.
but all right, you're gonna have to give me a sec. 'Cause some of them are kind of deep.
Just like your mom.
Fuck, I'll just read them. Okay.
No, read one.
No, we're not answering them. I'm going to read them.
Okay.
What do you guys see yourselves doing in 5 years? How much do your family know about your streams / YouTube? What your childhood favorite game? I rephrase some of these. Worst films ever, in your opinion? Drunk stories. What advice would you give someone wanting to pursue YouTube and Twitch and stuff? And pound tell 3 of your favorite jokes.
Has anyone been watching these podcasts?
No, literally nobody.
Yeah, roughly. I thought we gained a subscriber, but Amy said it was just her alt account. We're up to 41.
That's so funny.
Wow. Okay.
Am I okay to fucking do this
Yeah, all right,
segment
go ahead.
now? I asked twice and I just got ignored. All right, are you guys ready for me to rattle off my story?
What's your favorite
That's what I'm
dinosaur?
asking. What?
What's your favorite dinosaur?
Fuck off. Not again. All right. My story, it's not very deep this week, so this is going to rely more so on your questions than my actual storytelling. But, again, my headline is I almost got kicked out of a zoo for slapping a penguin. Now, I will preface, I didn't actually slap a penguin hard. I was on a date with a girl. I think I was 18. I had just passed driving, so yes. And we went to a local zoo here. I was about to say the name of it, but I realized I don't want to dox myself. And
How many
we were
zoos are there in Norfolk?
I don't
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
know. Like 5?
No.
Like, I don't fucking know. Where was I? Yeah, we went there, like, I don't know, maybe like 11 a.m.-ish. We were there till about 3-ish until it started to get, like, boring. But on the way out, one of us saw that they were doing some penguin feeding session in, like, half an hour. So between us, we were like, okay, fine, we'll go to it. And it was really like untamed. They sort of just let you in, and then they let like 3 groups in at a time, and then just stood at the gate to make sure nobody else like ran in. So this penguin walked up to us. I don't know how to describe the motion. It was
waddle.
sort of like go.
A waddle.
No, the motion of me.
Oh, a waddle.
It was sort of like, yeah, if you've ever winded a baby, it was sort of like
Ever
that.
what?
Winded
What
a
is that?
baby.
You punch it in the stomach?
What's winding mean?
No, it's when, like, babies can't autonomously burp.
That's
You
what I
have to, like,
thought.
pat
That's
them
what I
on the back.
thought. you were
Burping a
trying to
baby?
say. We call that burping a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called winding here,
Wow.
but yeah.
That's the worst fucking name ever.
Well, burping's
Well, what
worse.
you literally
But yeah,
just said what the point of it was to make them burp. Winding is not relevant at all. What are you hoping the baby breathe? It does it just fine on its own.
But you this is irrelevant.
Okay.
Let
Yeah,
me
go
continue.
ahead.
This is irrelevant. So I would describe it as the motion of winding a baby. It was sort of like a pat on the cheek. It wasn't a slap, but I unfortunately must have been caught in an unfortunate line of sight by one of the zookeepers, and they came over and they were basically like, "What the fuck? Get out!" And I didn't get kicked out because we protested hard enough to be like, "Bro, come on!" It was a tap. So I almost got kicked out of a zoo, but didn't successfully get kicked out. We left like 10
In
minutes
what
later.
zoo
So
can
I
you
might as well.
reach out and touch a penguin?
It was a penguin feeding session. They let you in.
Oh, it's 100% true. I don't need any other questions. I'll let Pound continue.
Okay, morons. There's penguins are native to Antarctica, not Britain.
What?
Just destroyed your
I hate
entire
you so
story.
I hate you so much.
No, at no point did I ever believe this story. The moment he said I slapped a penguin, I was like, well, this isn't true.
Is that your final answer?
Do you want me to add? I feel like the point of this is to ask questions, so I'll try to think of some.
Who was with you?
My girlfriend.
So you slapped a penguin to be funny in front of your girlfriend?
Pretty much. It was one of those.
That's why I
things.
think it's true.
It was like,
That's
ah.
why I think that's such an 18-year-old Bailey thing to do.
You said you slapped it on the cheek?
Yeah, sort of.
How do you think burping works?
I wasn't trying to burp it. I was saying the motion was of that. It was a pat. It wasn't a fucking full-on slap.
What did the employee
it was just
say
a little,
to you?
tap tap. Oh, I don't remember exactly, but it was just
What do you
like,
mean you don't remember?
yo, you can't slap them like that. Get out, sort of thing.
And what did you say
Fam,
to
it was
say?
almost 3 years ago.
What did you say to keep yourself in the zoo?
Well, I was just like, no, I didn't fucking slap it. I just tapped it. It was my entire process, my protest.
What did the penguin do?
I don't think it reacted much.
Did the penguin tell the zookeeper that you slapped it, and you grabbed the penguin's flipper and you went, "Who's gonna believe you?"
That's exactly it. And then I slapped it harder the second time.
What did your girlfriend say when you did it?
She was sort of just protesting with me when the guy
But
came
did she
over.
think it was
She didn't say
funny when
anything
you slapped it?
happened. Yeah, she didn't overreact. She was sort of just like a huh.
Do you normally slap little kids? Do you normally hit the innocent and vulnerable?
Yes, all the fucking time. Sometimes I just go outside to slap dogs.
I mean, that's literally what he said last, maybe not last week, but the week before, where he was like, yeah, me and my buddies who used to make fun of like the lowest people on the hierarchy in the high school. It's like we just went up to nerds and we just slapped them.
Yeah.
Yep, that's when I was 18 too.
Oh man, this is tough because I can see Bailey's excited. He's getting excited that he might have convinced me that this is true, which makes me think it's false.
Well, okay. In context, you both said opposing answers,
I know.
so.
Yeah, no, this is obviously fucking fake. There's
One.
there are no fucking penguins in Britain.
Good. Yep, he's nailed it. DC's currently Googling Norfolk zoos.
Hold on. Let me actually zoo.
Okay, Bailey, I just Googled the Norfolk Times, y'all's iconic newspaper, and I searched for boy slaps penguin. There's 0 stories about this.
DC,
I'm not giving you any information about the zoo because I do not want to dox myself.
How much more? You could have traveled to any one of these. You already know Norfolk, so. Was it the Benham Zoo? The Virginia?
I specifically said I'm not saying the name of it, and DC's like, so which one was it?
Wait, so Norfolk is like very Middle Eastern UK?
Yeah.
I'm going to say true.
This is the detail you're fixating. All right, Pound.
No, it's not fucking real.
It is false. Pound got that one right. DC sucks at this so hard.
I do. Well, it's hard for...
No, he got my ass last week.
It's hard for... Because it seems like something you would do. Like something that you... Like it's
That's
immature.
why it's a good
I know.
one.
What zoo lets you interact with penguins?
I should have
thing.
put that together. No, it's not a thing. Well, actually, yeah, it is a thing because at the
definitely a
aviary
thing.
here, they like have a penguin that you can come meet and chill with.
Right.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing. They probably wouldn't leave you uncontested with them, but
I even tried to help DC out. DC, where's your phone at?
Not with me on the podcast.
God damn it. I literally, 7 minutes ago, the moment the story started, I texted DC. I said, nobody believes this bullshit.
that's so funny.
That's how positive I was that this is not real.
Good.
Well,
All right, DC, I hope
Outro!
your
Outro!
Yeah.
Monkey! Outro!
No. Just
You're a liar! Monkey!
play the intro song from last week.
I don't fucking you know how much you can send me the audio file.
The
for that.
BDP Podcast.
It's the BDP Podcast. Yeah, it's the
Come on,
BDP
you fucking idiot. We want an
podcast
outro, not
for
an
you.
intro.
Yeah, it's a BDP podcast for me.
All right, hold on.
He's such a liar! He has it!
Brew
Fuck
that
you.
afternoon coffee.
Fuck you.
Brew the afternoon coffee. Brew the afternoon coffee. What's the best beer in England? He said Budweiser, Guinness, and Stella Artois. I said, those are foreign beers to you. He said, oh. Those are the best-selling retail beers, actually.
the world going in a better direction, or are we fucked as a human race? You'll find out on this podcast. Well, actually, no, you already found out, because this is an outro. Is the world heading in a better place? Oh, what? What'd you say?
That was so much.
What do you mean?
Here's how the podcast goes. We find out about a treasure in a grand line. There's no doubt. The podcaster whose eye is on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the podcast. I'm gonna be king.
Yeah, go ahead, pound rap. Are you gonna go?
His name is Pound. That's Monkey D. Gonna be king of the podcasters. He's made of rubber. How did that happen? Yo ho ho, he took a bite of BDP. His name's DC. He's just like a samurai and an LADY. Bailey's not shy.
I slapped a penguin in the face today. I slapped a penguin in the face. Fuck that penguin, I got a laugh from my girl, so it was worth it. I said, fuck that penguin. It never did anything for me anyway.
It was a pretty ugly penguin.
Fuck.
Based on a not true story.
What else did we talk about today?
We talked about
Social media.
talked about horses walking on two legs.
Oh yeah, we talked about it a lot.
Yeah, evolution,
Evolution.
We talked about Chloe.
We talked about a Chloe and I hated that segment.
And a dead brother. How many times does your brother have to die before you'll ask me on a date again? You said, who would ever want to date me? But now I have 28,000 upvotes on Reddit, so suck my dick and balls. I fucking hate you, Chloe. You useless sack of shit. You literally make my balls catch on fire from anger.
BDP Podcast, the podcast, the BDP Podcast, the podcast, the BDP Podcast, the BDP If you say her name a lot, like without enunciating, it just sounds like ba-da-ba-da-pa. It's the BDP Podcast. All right.